All right, what is up? I did do a recording earlier. It failed. Didn't make a video today for like the sixth week in a row because I've been trying to fix up this repo that I have. There's a couple issues with it. I don't want to blame Intel, but a lot of the imports that they gave were outdated, and a lot of them, at least one, Ultralytics has a conflict with Autodistill. So I can't run both of them at the same time, but it's actually fine because there is another set of notebooks that has different imports. So I'm just going through these notebooks and combining all the code that they have to create like a little agglomeration of code that actually all works together instead of having things. First of all, notebooks are the way these notebooks are set up, at least. A lot of the imports require you to run all the cells. Uh, so the one thing that notebooks I think are cool for is that you can run individual cells. But the way this notebook's set up, a lot of things are created and instantiated in separate cells, like this quantized model here. It's instantiated here, so you can't just run this cell. Uh, I mean, actually, you probably can because this one is no. There's paths in here, so yeah, this won't run because none of this stuff's been set up. So it kind of defeats the purpose of having a notebook. And not only that, the imports, some of these are out of date and codependent uh, on other imports at certain install time and at certain versions. So Ultralytics utils here with the base validator and the validator class. That's Ultralytics 0.0 point. I mean 8.0.43, I think, and we want 8.0.81 for Autodistill. So that's just one example. But though, and you can see how many imports here are using Ultralytics or packages from Ultralytics. So that's we're just going to combine all that together, and we'll get one solid piece of code that we all can run for YOLO V8, Autodistill, all of these. It'll all be in this one spot. So that's basically what took up most of the day today. I also went to go get some photos for the RoboFlow thing over here that I'm also doing, uh, which wasn't bad. Nice day today on Sunday, the Lord's Day. Blessed us with some beautiful sun. So let's see what's on the news. That's what I am gonna do these streams for, so I can stay up on top of news. I'm gonna try and do a weekly one of these where I just go through the news that I think is popping in the AI, crypto. We'll do GPU stuff if there's anything interesting or chip stuff or any of that. Wow, this is dusty. Uh, but keep me in the loop. Keep whoever may be watching this in the loop as well, making sure that we're coherent and consistent and not too casual, right? All right. So Sam Altman posted this weird pic. This face, you know, doesn't that just piss you off? This guy's face right here. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why this guy, I don't know. Anyway, I got no qualms with him. Just this face and this whole picture and this whole thing is just bothersome. Not really bothersome. I'm hating right now. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it. But Sam Altman, that whole thing with OpenAI, him and Greg Brockman, there was one other fellow as well. There's always like a third dude that's just hanging on, but he was not hanging on either. I'm sure he's all people are equally important, is what they tell us. Anyway, so had some trouble with the board a couple days ago. He was fired. The board, I think here, where was it? Here it is. Yeah, this is a great. Actually, has put out a little great summary here, bullet points and everything. This looks AI generated. It's so clean. But and there's so little detail, so it's so easy to read. Spacing's kind of weird. I would not be surprised if this was GPT generated. Just the way it's set up. It's like way too long for how little information there is, but there's also not much information and it's organized pretty well. Anyway, easy to read and show off in a video format. Ilya Sutskever on the board. This guy, he's done DeepMind and AlphaGo, as well as he was on the paper for uh damn, you really should know this off the top of your head. But he worked with Jeffrey Hinton. I think it was Transformers. That's it's got to be Transformers. That's kind of the main. Uh, but it wasn't Transformers, was it? It was convolutional neural networks and AlexNet. You got to know that, which is also pretty important stuff. Convolutional neural network allows you to use less layers. Well, it uses less layers and does some kind of feature extraction, as opposed to using the standard fully connected layer system that was in use in the past. Generally, this is used for input data with a lot of images. There's a lot of stuff there, kind of a set size though, and can be varied for better feature extraction. Not really too great for text. Not only is the text of varying length, but it doesn't extract that well. But I think there are some language models that do use a convolutional network. I think Banea, uh, maybe, nah, what was it called? There is one, I believe. Um, uh, well, an RNN is not the same thing. That's a recurrent neural network. That's before transformers. That just is basically like a for loop, uh, recurrent neural network. Easy to remember. Doesn't work as well for long context lengths. Has trouble using information from earlier steps because it's a loop. So it's going to require, at some point you're going to have to save. The model itself gets extremely large, and for training, since you're doing so many iterations and the model's getting pretty big, uh, values quickly go out of control. So RNN's had some serious problems. I can't find it right now, and I'll spend too much time doing it. But there are some. I'm pretty sure there is a large language model that uses a CNN. That's neither here nor there. Still a big deal. AlexNet, big deal. I think that was like 2015 or something like that. One of the first image recognition models to do really well. That was 2012. Lord have mercy. To really blow things out of the water. That's when things really picked up for that space. They were doing all kinds of nonsense before then. But so yeah, Escobar on the board. Big dude, big dog. Uh, at least in terms of research. Weird looking guy, but who isn't? A lot of people are weird. Uh, we got Adam D'Angelo, I believe, is this guy. Quora and LinkedIn is his claim to fame. Quora is pretty interesting. I like Quora. Um, because it's kind of like a combination between it's got that social media aspect of randomness. So I like how the answers are just kind of random people, but they're usually pretty good, and the questions that are asked are usually pretty interesting. So I have it on my browser as kind of I have like a kind of a feed of stuff, and I see core questions asked. I also get them emailed to me sometimes too. So I actually do visit Quora quite a bit. It's a fun site. It's kind of I like it better than um, I don't know. It's not. I wouldn't say it's better than Twitter. I probably use it about the same, just because I have it on my phone on the browser. So, but that's him. So he started it. He invested $20 million of his own money. That's insane. I don't know how he manage that, but that is crazy. When he was like 20, some people, there's just levels to this crap. And that's just how it is. But yeah, so he's on the board as well. Tasha McCauley. Um, didn't mean to have that comma there. Jeez. Okay, so she's an entrepreneur. This is what she looks like. Let's see. What has she done? There's no Wikipedia page. I'm sure she was the forefront, the most important member of the team, obviously. Just doing all the work all the time. Anyway, so we have Helen Toner, the fourth board member. And I guess we have a little page here, no Wikipedia page either. Governance, strategic. She also hired and managed a team. Okay, that's a weird accomplishment. She hired the team that was responsible for increasing revenues for the open philanthropy scale up 10 million to 200 million. I mean, I guess hiring is is a skill, and if you do hire good people, you are subject to. If you hire people, you should have some responsibility for how they perform, I suppose. I don't know. I don't know her. I don't know the other lady as well, but I'm sure they're the best ever. Anyway, that's the board without Altman and Brockman, who were both let go. And bringing him back is what was on the news today, because there were talks apparently to bring him back. He did show up to OpenAI. That's why I keep pulling up this photo here as a guest with his guest pass that doesn't have any barcodes or anything on it. I was looking at it and it doesn't. I guess it's a card. Maybe it's a physical card. I know these companies always have over the top nonsense, but just looking at it, it looks like a piece of cardboard. And there's a picture of him, pointing his phone at it. I'm not sure if he was taking a snap or whatnot, but weird picture, weird setup, weird colors too. I didn't think OpenAI went with green and yellow. The George Mason special. I don't know, who cares? But that's what he came back today. They had a little discussion. We don't know what it was about, obviously. There can only be speculation. The New York Times seems to think seems to speculate that if Altman does come back, it's going to be on the tail of a new governance structure. They think that he is going to want to restructure things and want to raise. The company was in talks to raise a new funding round that would value the company at more than $80 billion. And where was it? And well, this was also weird. I don't know why they put this in here, but 12:45 p.m., a delivery man with a dozen drinks from the Boba guys showed up on a motorbike with 2 bags. Another delivery man followed later with half a dozen more drinks. And then at 6:15, a food delivery driver pulled up to the rear entrance and jumped out with 4 bags from McDonald's. I think between food delivery, masks, and tampons, like those things we could eliminate. Like not food delivery as like an idea, but there's a lot of whenever I order food, I have like a trash bag full of garbage, like which it's not. I'm not really, but I don't really care that much. Really, at the end of the day, you're not gonna get laid saving the planet, so it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But between that, tampons and the masks, you are producing a ton of waste. So I think if we got rid of those, that'd solve a lot of problems. It's weird that these companies are ordering McDonald's and boba guys. You'd think that they would have a kitchen in the office building, but I can only imagine. People are snobbish about McDonald's, but then they don't want to eat regular food. Like people are like, "Oh, McDonald's is garbage," and then you're like, "All right, let's just eat regular food," and they're like, "Nah, I want McDonald's." And it's like you said you don't like me. You said it was like I don't know, but that was a weird. That was my little rant there. But that was a weird little adage that makes me more disheartened with society again. So that's the situation with OpenAI. Um, Somewhere it did say that they speculated that he was going to want the board restructured. Uh, it did say here that would be a dramatic reversal for OpenAI, but somewhere they said they wanted it restructured. It does say that it was valued at $80 billion, which is a ton. They have a profit cap right now, which is probably not in Microsoft's best interest, who has a 10% stake. Um, Investors are willing to give money, so this isn't going anywhere. And then I just opened up Fortune magazine doing a little research here. It's $29.99 for this magazine that I've never heard of. Fortune magazine, $29.99 per month. OpenAI is $20 a month. This is $10 more expensive for what looks like the Economist knockoff. It looks exactly the same. The font's the same. I don't know. Maybe they're responsible for Fortune 500, that list. Does that come? I bet that's who does that. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so that's these people. 29.95 per month. That's too much. So OpenAI is definitely at these rates. They could be making more money, and I'm sure Altman, a business mogul who's been the head of a ton of businesses. How much time are we at here? We don't want to. Oh, 18 minutes, not bad at all. All right. Who's been the head of a ton of businesses, um, is looking at the board, the company, and how they're doing things, and probably frustrated. There's probably in his mind maybe a waste of resources. Uh, Obviously, if there's some kind of profit cap, they might be not updating things and not putting things out on purpose. They might be, delaying things. They might not be able to take on certain partnerships that would be beneficial. There might be all kinds of things that you could argue as being a hindrance to the progress of the company. Not to mention the fat stacks of cash that you could be bringing in. So I don't think that it's too strange to think that he was at the board meeting with Greg Brockman, Ilya Sutskever, the other three people, and well, the founder of Quora, obviously. This is Adam D'Angelo, Tasha McCauley, and Helen Toner. Uh, which is these two here are really whatever, it doesn't matter. So they're at a meeting, they're talking about stuff. I'd imagine that topic of starting to become more profitable came up, and someone probably said something against the mission statement, and that probably is written that like you can't go against the code or you're immediately fired. I bet there was something happened. I would imagine that was against a rule that was put in that says you're immediately fired or something like that. And since they said that Iosefsky was the main pusher, is what they're speculating for this firing, I'd imagine that he probably was like, "Yeah, that's in the rules. You're fired." And then everyone was like, "All right, that's in the rules. You're fired." And no one really took it seriously. But then I'd imagine Sam Altman was, like, "You guys fired me. All right, I don't need you guys. I'm out of here." And that's kind of the drama that's going on, because it looks like he's not coming back. First and last time I ever wear one of these. I don't think he's coming back. He's got a bunch of other ventures, so he'll be good to go. Which brings us to WorldCoin. He's not coming back because he's got a bunch of other ventures like WorldCoin. Co-founder of WorldCoin. I don't know if he's still part of WorldCoin, but let's look it up. WorldCoin. I don't know what the benefit of being part of it is. Here's the white paper. I didn't go to the Wikipedia site. It was developed in Berlin, founded. Since it's a cryptocurrency, I don't know if they're making money from selling these scanners, or if they are taking out loans on some of their coins. You can do like what FTX did, except legally. Like someone can loan you money for and hold assets as collateral. The assets could be the coins in this case. I think that's legal. I think the problem with Sam Bankman-Fried was doing that with his own company. So he was essentially spending the money himself. So he would he'd have a separate company provide him or FTX with a loan, and FTX provided coins as collateral. And I also think they provided users' coins as collateral as well, and didn't make that explicitly clear. So that's why they recommend using a hardware wallet, because you really don't have access to your coins in the pure sense when they're hosted by when someone else is holding them, obviously. So I think that's what he was doing. That's also illegal. Not what WorldCoin's doing. Definitely a legitimate business, but nefarious potentially. So that brings us to WorldCoin, something else that Sam Altman may be getting money from. I'm not entirely sure, but weird stuff here. This is a company looking to become a global identity leader, I suppose is what we want to call it. They are looking to give identification to people in the world that don't have access to it. I think it said something like 4 billion people in the world currently are not no, where was it? 4 billion people lack a legal, digitally verifiable identity. 4 billion people, that's a lot. So if you lack a legal and digitally verifiable identity, you can't really participate in the modern banking system, which is, a problem for bankers, because other people storing money in the bank is how banks, do the fractional reserve and make money thing. And that is the money multiplier. And if you're doing fractional reserves, money increases. So really everybody benefits if there's more people in the banking system, for a lot of reasons. So it is beneficial to get these 4 billion people banking. And not only that, but banking in a way that is banking in the financial system in a way that is almost unfudgeable. So if a country has their own banking system and the country collapses, things are going to be records might get lost. Things have to get redone. Even if it's stored in a server, you'd probably be better off having the server offshore, and then you have another country, just maintaining it, which is not that big of a deal. But if it is in your own country, someone could easily take it over and hold it hostage or set it on fire. Or who knows what could happen? There's a lot of turmoil in a country. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. And a system like this, where records and identification is handled outside of the country entirely, not only is it handled outside of the country, it's not part of the country at all, is saves a lot of resources for the country. It skips over a ton of bureaucracy, and it almost immediately gets these people in the system, which is fast. Like this would really, if imagine um, a country such as um, like Baltimore. I don't want to call out any countries. So we go to Baltimore, and these people, they have nothing. They're in complete disarray. The place is in shambles. It's falling apart from the top down. They can't really identify. They can't really go to the bank because they're enemies of the state. Most of them, first of all, so they can't really get the identification that they need, even if they are able to. They're just the way that things have been set up and the cards that have been dealt. It's too much of a burden to go through that whole bureaucratic process. It's potential that there's some conflicts with the bureaucratic process and other obligations that they owe. Perhaps they have parking tickets or something like that. All of that is the government being in control of the identification system. So now you got the government on your back, and any offense that you make to the government is an offense on the digital system that identifies you, and you might not be able to get that. Um, it's even worse in Baltimore's tough because it's in America, but I don't want to call out any countries here because I don't. It's not fair. I don't know the GDP of all these countries. I didn't look it up before, but you have WorldCoin now. It doesn't matter if you have parking tickets or you got arrested or whatever happened. Uh, you're identified. They don't care. They're not gonna. Another country isn't going to. I mean, it could happen, but currently another country can't say, oh, you can't give this person identification, or oh, you got to revoke this person's identification because of X, Y, or Z, or it's completely independent of that. So it really does speed things up. And you don't have to go sign up, do this whole lengthy process, and they pay you. So there's a lot of benefits to this system potentially, but it is rolling in, it is bringing in the next wave of surveillance, which is biometric uh, intelligence, I guess. I don't know what that's called. It sounded cool for a second, but biometric identification, which already exists. A lot of stadiums already use it, but worldwide, which, I don't know. I think it really just sounds worse than it is. It already basically exists, but that's what's going on with WorldCoin. And that has the potential to blow up just as much. 4 billion people all getting put into the banking system. They then have a coin that's going out with it, so they might be able to facilitate some kind of transaction process that's actually getting used. So they might be able to roll in a cryptocurrency that people actually use. They've got AI people on the scene, so they might be able to, come up with a translation system. Then you could package a whole thing with getting people identified. There's a lot you could do with that, I'd imagine. Proof of personhood is what they're using, which is pretty cool here as an idea. Because the problem with these with these what are these called? Validation methods. Proof of work, proof of wow, proof of work, proof of stake. I think those are the only two I know actually. Let's see. That's about it. Proof of work, proof of stake. Ethereum switched over, I believe. I don't know if they actually did complete the switch. What are those called? Proof of work. Proof of stake. But all of these, the problem with these is there's no identification. So the reason why proof of work is because you can't verify that the person isn't a bad actor. So they assume that whoever has the most compute power at the given time is probably not likely to be a bad actor because they've invested a ton into generating things for the coin. I guess that's the idea. It has worked out because not only do you need to be a bad actor, you have to also surpass the 51% attack. So you'd have to be a bad actor that has 51% of the power on the network to continually update the blocks such that the ledger doesn't get reset. Because if you just update the ledger once with invalid blocks, the next time someone updates the ledger, that's all going to get cleared out and it'll be like nothing happened. So you'd have to keep updating blocks until eventually someone is like, all right, we forgot what it was before. And then maybe you could let it go, or you just completely take over the coin for all of time. Proof of stake is the same thing, but instead of compute power, it's how much you actually own. So whoever owns the most is definitely less likely to want to invalidate the coin. So that's the idea for that. But proof of personhood, you kind of avoid that because if you do set up an invalid coin, they know who you are. So they got you already. So I guess that's kind of cool. But, you know, that does kind of defeat the whole purpose of the anonymity that these things were, you know, supposed to roll out. But at this point, you know, it's all been kind of a pipe dream. You know, all the anonymity, the whole thing of being anonymous on the internet is anonymity.
Anonymity.
There we go. Anonymity.
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 I'm not going to remember that. But that whole thing is kind of out the window. But that was another issue with WorldCoin. Once they start rolling out those verifications methods that are biometric, once your personhood is linked to a physical attribute, it's hard to escape the system that has imposed those conditions on you. So, makes it hard to go off the grid, which, you know, kind of sucks. Currently now, I'm saying that if you leave your phone at home and only use cash, you're off the grid. Like, that's it. They really have no way to, obviously video surveillance, you know, they can create a path and, you know, check the brand of your cigarette butts and, you know, follow the smoke, you know, do that kind of thing. But that's a lot of work and people aren't willing to do that. So you're pretty much good if you leave your phone at home, you only use cash, and you have places where you can stay that aren't hotels. With these verification methods, that's over, because they got you wherever you go. Even if, you know, you have to wear glasses, get your Minority Report, get your eyes scooped out. Things will change. It'll be a lot harder to just, you know, go off the grid. Or it might be easier at first because you would have all those methods available to you. So now they're only looking for iris scanners, and you replace your iris. You replace your iris. I bet iris is one of those words. Iris, plural. Irises. You get your irises removed, and you're good to go, basically. So it might be that way for a while. But, you know, that's WorldCoin. Sam Altman's good to go. Gitcoin, another similar project, looks ridiculous. Look at this terrible website. I can't read it. I have no idea what's going on. I'm not even gonna try. Yeah, it's a lie. We'll quadratic funding. Ooh, wow, that looks fun. Let's check that out. But actually, we gotta finish this, so I'm gonna get back to that. But that's cool. So we got some stuff. We got the white paper here. We will read those. I put off my crypto pursuit for a while, so I'm gonna just kind of freshen up a little bit. So I'm still slightly conversational. That's the goal. I hope this helped whoever's watching it also become a little more conversational in the tech world. That's pretty much all I have. There was a space launch today with the Falcon Heavy, which looks heavy. It is a large object. Um, so that's pretty cool. It's got, I think, a bunch of rockets, a bunch of engines on it that shoot out propellant. I think we can call them rockets. I don't really know what their engines is what he calls them, but it did look impressive. I don't want to count those, and I'm not going to. But that did happen today as well, and it went. It didn't explode. It supposedly went to space, if space is real, which we can't really know if space is real. We, as in me, I'm sure if we just don't really know. The data's not out yet. I don't know. But that also happened. What else? Uh, there was the Cricket World Cup today. I keep seeing that. That's quite all right. A little upset with the Commanders as well. They did not perform as I think Ron Rivera also got fired. That's basically all that happened today, as far as I know. I think the Bills are, they're doing fantastic, but losing every game. I think that's how it works. Uh, they're doing fantastic and winning, but it's the Jets. So the Jets aren't bad anymore, I guess. I don't really know. I don't really watch sports. But that is what happened today. Um, 6-5. That's weird. They do really good, but they lose like a lot. I don't know what's up with them. But that's their whole thing. I think Josh Allen's the best there is. But that's I don't know. So, um, I think Cooper Cup sucks too. That's football. I don't really. Football is gay though. That is what they said, and I am not a homosexual, so I feel like I'm appropriating the culture a little bit. But and that's what they said. They had a commercial. They put it right there on the screen, right in full letters. I think yeah, that's what they said. I don't. So it's not for me. That's what they said. Um, that's just how it is. Nothing wrong with that. It's just not for me. I don't want to appropriate something that I'm not really a part of. But that is what happened today. Maybe someone died. Don't know who that is. I don't know who celebrities are anymore. That's another thing that's been happening recently. There's so many uh, celebrity or at least musicians that I've never even heard of at all. So that's going on. That's gonna keep happening, I suppose. Um, Movie actors, I was saying that they're all the same. They haven't really changed, as far as I know. I haven't seen any like really attractive young movie ladies yet. There hasn't been like a Megan Fox in 2008. Like, what happened to those kinds of like? There hasn't been like a hot young like girl in a movie in a long time. I don't know. I don't know what's up with that. I guess because they're making more serious. It's been a lot of serious war movies out lately, and there's no room for hot chicks. So, um, I guess that's just what it is. We're not gonna have hot chicks anymore. That's too bad. There might be a ceasefire tomorrow in Jerusalem. So that's also going on. We do need to free that from the infidels and ensure that it becomes a righteous Christian nation as it was meant to be. Time will tell if that will happen. It doesn't look like it. Looks like there's a pretty tough competition over there. Bojan Tungus, also very hilarious. This guy, a very smart guy, XGB boost proponent or something like that. Kaggle quadruple grandmaster. I don't know if that's true, but that'd be impressive if it was. I don't know if this is pure. What is that? Pure parody, or this looks like a fake website. Maybe it is. Maybe this is pure parody. I was taking this guy seriously. But he does have good opinions, and he is hilarious, and he's on point. He posts a lot, which makes me feel better about myself. But he's on point. Like, he doesn't miss. He's on point. And he has quotes that are, like pretty, he's all over the place. He's funny, he's insightful. He's on the ball with these topics. He's like the first to know about stuff. Good Twitter channel with Bojan Tungus. That can't be a real name now that I think about it. Yeah, I don't know. He looks like a Bojan Tungus. That's hilarious. He's on point. A very funny guy. I might not subscribe. I don't know what subscribing is. I thought I followed. I don't want to hit subscribe. Funny guy. Yeah, I think that's it. Where are we at now? 41 minutes. That's pretty much where we need to be. So that's that. Altman, OpenAI, weird, just a little bit of drama in the AI world that hasn't really happened yet. So that's fun. See how that gets handled. Obviously behind the scenes, there's Iasoskever, researcher. He's looking for a super alignment. I said super intelligence in a previous video. It is kind of a similar thing. Alignment being the difference between alignment and super. The alignment is just getting the model to do what users ask it to do, which is not as easy as you think, because there's a fine line between a literal interpretation and, not a fine line, but there is a difference between the literal interpretation of what someone says and the correct action that person intended you to perform. So let me try and think of an example that is common. Well, this is the easiest. If you say, tell me what you think about this article, and then the model responds what you think about this article, like, that's poor alignment. Even though it's perfectly following what you said, you told it to tell you what you think about the model. So it's telling you what you think about the model. That's exactly what you said, but that's not really what you want. There's some kind of semantics that these models have to pick up on to effectively chat with human beings, and not even seeing their expressions and their actions. So that alignment is a tough issue because these models do have capabilities that are impressive, but they struggle to perform the actions properly, which is the biggest complaint. So when these models do search the internet, they have a tough time picking the right links. And I've been, I don't know, obviously, I'm just a guy here alone, but when you do search for links, you can see how it's hard. There's a lot here, and when you pick something, at least for me, it's not really clear why I pick what links I do. Like, I'm searching for tree. Generally, if there's a Wikipedia and it's a topic that's neutral, I'll just click the Wikipedia. But if it's not, like, there was that Helen Toner, this girl. When I went here, we should rewatch it. I went down and I clicked this link. I have no idea why I clicked this link. This is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fourth link, the fifth link, I guess, or the fourth link, index at 0. I'm guessing it's because these first two used to be ads, so I just skip over those immediately. And then these were top stories, and then I just went here, I think, but I couldn't really put an algorithm together as for why I clicked this link. But not only did I click this link, I was satisfied with it. So this link was kind of the right choice for what I was looking for. I didn't click any other links. I clicked this link for a reason I don't know, and it was good enough to satisfy the request. When models search the web, they usually start from top down, which for some reason is a worse system. I don't really know why, but there's some hidden experience that we've gained from using Google to pick links better. So that's another alignment problem. You want these models to, you can't just tell it to search Google and do X, Y, or Z. You need to add some code in the background to get Google to get the model to properly pick links and to properly extract text. If you tell it to that's the problem with the agent system. You can code all these tools, but the model has a tough time picking the right tools to use, much like a human being, but a lot worse than what humans are capable of doing. So that's the whole alignment thing. Using transformer models to perform alignment, to improve, using transformer models, there's a limit to how good the alignment can be, because it's really just token prediction. There's no, any other logic would have to be outside the model. It doesn't have any way of understanding the process. It can only see a bunch of processes and try and mimic the process, which is not scalable according to E.S. Sutskever, and I would agree as well. It's from 2017. I think it's time for a new architecture to break through. We do have a ton of architectures available. There are a ton of systems. There's knowledge graphs that are already in use that were working pretty well, but the transformers were just quicker and easier to train. But I don't know if in the case of finding information or for some specific tasks, there's things that existed and were used in the past that were fine. They just hadn't been brought to their full potential yet. So there's definitely room to improve. Things will definitely get better, or we will not be able to find anything, and this will be the end of artificial intelligence for the next 20 to 30 years. There'll be another AI winter, and things will pick up again when they discover something new, which is equally likely. It's been quite a while, and a lot of people are looking at this, and we haven't gotten past Transformers. But we'll see. We'll see. And that's all I got. Enough news. Hopefully I can do these every week. I'm also trying to put out videos, but I've just been swamped. No excuses. At some point this week, I'll definitely put out, well, first I'll try and finish this. Then at some point this week, I'll try and explain this in a video so you can use this object detection repo yourself and have everything you need all in here. Whoever's watching this, if anyone's watching this, I am so glad and so happy you could join me. It is a pleasure. I wish you the best of health, the best of wealth, the best of life. May your days be better than mine. But may you wish that my days are better as well. Be easy. Peace.